what's up everybody? Alright, so the past few days I've been using flawless builds to just speed run my members do stuff. And a few people have asked how to actually make a flawless build. What I'm going to tell you guys is that I'm going to show you guys how to do it, but I did not create flawless builds. Flawless builds have existed since the start of Dauntless. The concept of the flawless build is to basically stuff every single offensive cell that you can into something. There's no defense at all whatsoever. There's only a slight modification that I particularly do, and I'm going to show you how to change that modification first. So I'm going to show you guys how to build a base flawless build, which is one without my modification. So the concept of the flawless build is to kill something at the fastest speed possible. This involves putting every offensive cell into your loadout and also having catalysts so you can take advantage of your potions. How that works is very simple. You will basically have something like, now you can choose any weapon that has a offensive cell. For example, Inferno's Roar, which is the Hellions, has Overpower. This is an offensive cell, so it's okay to be used. The Rezakiri has Cunning, so this is okay to be used. You're basically looking for anything that has offensive power in it, basically including the perk as well. You don't want a perk that is defensive or that isn't contributing to damage. So although like Thundering Guns has Etheric Attunement and 30% damage to behemoth heads, it's not ideal. Savate, +3 pulse, that's ideal because that's offensive, and you have an offensive UE as well. Stalker's Cries is like kind of iffy because it works great if you burst apart, but and the UE is obviously offensive in nature, but still not ideal or fantastic. So Hellion, Rezakiri, these are generally what constitute Hellion, Rezakiri, Savate, I guess Stalker's Cries as well, but the perk isn't ideal or great. And basically by using that, you will be able to start off your flawless build. So in this example, I'm using the Temporal Mechanics together with a Rezakiri Bond here. Alright, the idea behind this, obviously to get Cunning, which is an offensive cell, and the 12% chance for attacks to hit twice. Okay, we've got the Mod Precision Sights, standard for offensive builds. Captain's Grip here, Marksman Chamber here. You'll be using all your highest damage stuff. Now, I've got Evasive Fury in here, but actually, right, if you're fighting in a team or you have teammates, you would actually want to be running Overpower. Why? Because Overpower is far better. You'd swap this Grasp of Thorns to Togador's Brawn, put in Berserker, and this is the Overpower style. It's also great because for a lot of behemoths you can parry and knock them down. Overpower triggers in those situations, and the 40% boosted damage is great. But if you're running repeaters solo, for example, like I'm demonstrating here, you may not always get that. So Evasive Fury can be used as well. Basically, as long as it's offensive in nature, you want it in. All right. So this is the standard form of a flawless build, okay, with Catalyst. I make a slight modification by changing this to Zeal. Why? Because for those who might be too lazy to run potions or you don't want to buy them or anything, I find Zeal works just fine because my lantern is Skarn's Defiance. Now, ideally, if you want to, like, for example, in Trials, you might be changing the lantern to something that actually suits your particular needs. For example, if you're fighting an ice creature, you want to be having your Embermane's Rapture. If you're fighting a Terra creature, you might want to run the Drast Sai. There's a lot of differences that you can go there with, but that is for people who are specialized in that high end of the game. In fact, flawless builds are what is normally used in Trials to get top timings. I do not use them because, number one, I do not sweat for Trials. Number two, I also don't encourage this type of build because, again, this type of build is very good if you have the skills for it, but one of the rules that I always make for myself is that I only release builds which are used by the majority of players who have a wide variance in their skill level. You have players that are very good, and you have players that are just starting out. So I don't want to release a build that only one small portion of the community can use. But since there is like not much content to do right now, since there hasn't been any new update to Dauntless yet, and the next update will probably come when the Hunt Pass ends and the next one comes out, I've decided to showcase how to build flawlessly. In fact, I did this last time. There was this sort of like gap. I also released a flawless build back then. That was a couple of updates ago. In general, I don't really work on this or showcase this unless there is nothing else for me to do. And the reason why I'm using the Skarn's Defiance Lantern is because in the flawless build, there's no sustain. So I find that this gives me a little bit of leeway to play around. So I like to have Skarn's Defiance with some zeal. So that is the reason for this. Now I'm actually going to go into the cells because I've spent a long time explaining this. So temporal mechanics, Berserker Cell, Overpower Cell. You've already gone through the rest of this stuff, so it's okay. Discipline will be your Omnis Cell. Why don't you use the others? Because Discipline is in general the best, and it also gives you a parry, which is very, very necessary. Considering that you are going full offense, you want to continuously attack and also have the chance of knocking enemies down. The easiest thing to do that with is Discipline. Alright? You've got your Skarn's Defiance with your Zeal right here. Okay, that's always very good. Now, again, you can change that for Catalyst if you want to. Time Weave Helm with a Pulse Cell is going to be your helmet. Thrax's Shadow with a Pulse Cell here. Okay, that's your chest piece. You've got your Togador's Brawn with a Berserker Cell. Okay, and you've got Stride of Thorns with a Zeal Cell. Basically, I stuffed in everything that has offensive capabilities. Pulse can also be used like to time with like Hellion UE, stuff like that. I just have it here because I couldn't think of anything better to throw in there. Like, I considered Galvanize, but I prefer Pulse, which is guaranteed. Alright, so overall, all of this stuff, just gonna very quickly go through the perks. Berserker, up to 35% increased damage. Predator, 35% increased raw damage. Cunning, 30% increased critical strike damage, 10% critical strike chance. Pairs well with Discipline, which has 10% critical strike chance and damage already baseline added in. And then you've got your Pulse, which further increases your critical damage. Alright. And then you've got Overpower, so if you knock down the Behemoth or it's staggered, very good in teams. Excuse me. You will have the 40% increased damage on the Behemoth, raw by the way, so that's also further multiplied by crit. And then Zeal is just your little bit of extra survivability. Like I said, you can use Catalyst if you want to. That's actually how flawless builds are supposed to run. Alright, now I'm going to demonstrate these. So, again, I do not recommend these for combat unless you are like at the stage whereby like you can handle a top 100 solo. So we're gonna go to Frost March, which is a 7 to 10 area, right? And we're gonna show like how this functions in actual combat and stuff like that. Flawless builds are basically exemplary of the concept that the best defense is a good offense. You don't bother defending. Like, the only defense is that you dodge, and that it's a very manual defense, I would say. So basically, that's why I don't recommend it to anyone who's not in the top 100 solo. Like, if you can at least get into a top 100 timing solo, okay, that would be the bare minimum of skill that you would need. And I'm talking about Dauntless Trial. So if you can reach that bare minimum of skill level, then I highly recommend flawless builds to you because they are fast and speedy, and I'll show you that concept. Let me just pick up this little troll chest. Okay, so with a flawless build, basically I can start out attacking straight away. I will usually dodge through anything because you do not want to lose your predator bonus no matter what. Losing your predator bonus, very, very bad. So you want to parry all attacks that come your way, and basically you'll see that creatures die fairly fast. Like, they take a lot of damage. This is even without potions. If you were running Catalyst with this and, you know, fully running your potions and everything, now I took a hit there, that loses me Predator. Okay, remember that. Once you lose Predator, you are in a sadder situation. You do not ever want to lose Predator with this kind of build. So that is why it's called Flawless, because you're supposed to dodge flawlessly. Alright? But you'll notice that part breaks are happening fairly frequently, and that is ideal as well because it's basically how you're going to knock down behemoths. Now, the more damage you take, you'll notice that there's no healing, no method of healing at all. Alright, all you've got are your parries and your shield. Alright, you can, of course, drink from the Aether vents afterward, but this level 8 Charog with like my level 1 repeaters is almost dead. Do you see how that works? This stuff is very, very good, and very high in offensive power, but it's something whereby you do have to have a good understanding of the game to properly apply. So this Charog's dead already, and like, if you need to heal, you can just suck up from the vents. Again, these are even better in teams, because if you are skilled enough to mostly dodge around, you can literally break the shit out of your enemy. Okay, so we're gonna go towards this Pangar. It's about 6 levels above us. These types of builds will basically wreck the living shit out of most creatures, so you don't have to panic too much. But at the same time, you have to have the skills to actually apply this kind of gameplay. So there, I wasn't fast enough on my parry, so I took a hit. But, of course, the number of hits you take don't actually matter unless you die. But you do lose Predator for 15 seconds, which you don't want. So, like, let's say something goes down. I've shot the head. You can see how much damage you're doing even with just level 2 repeaters. This is like the maximum possible amount of offense that you can possibly have in a build. And if you get your discipline buff trigger, basically this thing will die. Okay, so it's already dead. See? So that is the power of flawless builds. But again, unless you really at that skill level where you don't take a hit. In fact, if I didn't take a hit there, the Pangar, would have died even faster. But unfortunately, I am not as good with repeaters. It just happened to be the only thing level 1 that I could showcase. So that's basically how a flawless build runs. It's basically you just go in there, shoot the living shit out of whatever you want to shoot, and it will just die. Okay, so, and again, if you run the Catalyst style, you can quite frankly just blitz through everything if you want to do that. All right. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this helps you guys build flawlessly. Again, please choose the right weapon for you. If you really want to try this particular style, you have to choose a weapon that you're generally decent with. You want to be able to parry and dodge most attacks. Yes, everybody's going to take a hit once in a while. Even for the top tier players, they do take hits sometimes. So nobody's going to dodge 100% perfectly. But for those that can dodge and parry well about 80 to 90% of time with the weapon of your choice, this is for you, because basically you will steamroll whatever the fuck is out there. Just saying. Alright, so I hope that this build helps you. I hope that you guys enjoyed this little video. The only thing left is the thank you scene. So if you guys enjoy my content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, if you want to support the channel, you can drop a tip via link in the description of the video. You can send super thanks on YouTube. You can become a channel member. And in fact, here are some of our top tier channel members: Poony Poony, OnlyFan; RealAsianRobot, OnlyFan; Zach NFG, Prestige; Nate the Great, Prestige; The Forgotten Prestige; Night Ranger X, Prestige. I appreciate you guys. Also, here's our January's top supporters: Bravo7910, Randomo, Swordmaster Krampus, Johnny Nara, Alien Frost 80, Zavi Uzumaki, Casmanta My Lovely Girl, Zach NFG, Galaxy Train, Kelvin Maxey, Rune Eater, Rogue Assassin, Shroot, I'm a Boxhead, Viper91, British Robot, The Mighty Zeno, Leviosa, iCake Sai, Night Ranger X, and Franz Schubert. We appreciate all of you lovely people, and I'll see you all on the next video. Bye-bye.